Hello everyone, I'm Steve, Mark's around. Say hi, Mark.
Hi, everybody!
And this is Smokey, Steve, and Mark. Either welcome or welcome back. And happy Saturday! It is the weekend. So, today we have dark roast, which we're getting more coffee. And Mark smuggled home some Italian sweet cream coffee mate creamers, so I threw a couple of them in. Iced, because it is 90 outside. So, hope everyone's well, everyone's safe. Look after yourselves, look after the people you care about, follow local public health and public safety protocols. That's what I got. That's the PSA for today. So, we are going to pick up where we left off with our fair lady, Chantal Marie, Foodie Beauty, Big Beautiful Me, the Daily Chantal, Chantopoulos, and Foodie Beauty again. Now, where we left off last week, things were turbulent. We had a few days of weight loss videos, I almost say 4, I think, and then a video where she was double fisting some poutine came up, and all the weight loss videos came down. Then that video went down, and there was nothing up. Then all the weight loss videos went back up, and then out of, anger, I think she put the poutine video back up, because it was everywhere else, with everyone else watching it in full, and I think she thought if anyone's going to make money off of it, it should be me. Fair enough. So all those videos went back up. Let's see. That was pretty much it. They all went up and down, up and down. I kind of left it, I think, open-ended at the end of last week. I wasn't really sure. I was kind of hopeful, not optimistic. We'll see. This week, I'm going to say this much impressed with her performance, but all of this is in context. So as we're going through the videos this week, again, there's always the Chantal disclaimer. She's not always 100% truthful. She's not always 100% consistent. She's only human. Well, the truthful part, whatever. And her timelines don't always match up. So we're going to approach this as though everything is on the up and up, and, we'll see where it goes. So last week, I didn't review the last video due to time constraints and almost lack of interest. So I'll summarize that here and then we'll dive right in. So the last video from when we last met was a chatty eat dinner with me. And it was very chatty. She had the makeup and the eyelashes that were like out to here. And she said basically it's like quarantine. There's nothing to do. There's nowhere to go. So eat. And she had, she's still doing healthy-ish, portion-controlled stuff. That seems to be the theme of the weight control on this definitely not just a weight loss channel. And it's not a mukbang channel, it's just Chantal. So she's trying to go along with the weight loss thing still. She's talking about being interested in French cooking, all sorts of, random chatty crap just to fill time. She still doesn't have her ring light because it's at BB's. It's been months. Like, months and months and months. If it was part of my job, I think I would have all the equipment moved by now. That's a personal decision I think I would make, but just saying. She's talking about her traveling coming up soon. This makes an appearance later in the week. And how it's going to be a lot of walking, but she's trying to build up her stamina. She was telling stories again about her youth and volunteering across Canada. She's been reminiscing a lot lately about younger days and better, happier times and whatever. She talked about being fat-shamed, I guess, by a doctor who was on one of these trips with them and couldn't figure out why she was being fat-shamed, but the fatter man who was with them in the group was not being fat-shamed. And I gotta say, simple reason is because she's a woman, and it's different for women. It's more of a crime for a woman to be fat than a man. Call me a liberal. I think that's what it is. So the next video we go into, which was for more of this week, was day in the life, what I ate, and exercise on my new walker. This caused a little controversy. I saw a few reactions pop up the same day this came out. Now I had a couple positions on the walker, and we'll get to that too, and Mark had a decidedly different one than I did, and he may share a thought. So, day in the life, what I'm doing, starting in bed pretty much is what she's doing. She's going for a walk with Pete's this day with her walker. She's a little nervous. She says a little embarrassed. One could argue Chantal has no shame, so she wouldn't be embarrassed, but we'll just go with what she says. She then, before she got moving, talked about skincare while she's in bed, put on makeup. I could give a shit, but I will say Chantal has very good skin and could do makeup professionally if YouTube ever tanked. She could do make up for other people, I think. Let's see. Then she talked about her food. She tried to make a cup of coffee. She's measuring her food still, so I'm guessing without her being so dramatic about it, she's still doing the weight loss type thing, portion control, whatever. Her breakfast of bran and berries, which, she says she loves. Nobody loves all bran. Nobody. You're lying. Nobody loves all bran. It looks like rabbit food. It's terrible. And then she had leftover burgers around because there was family over. That never made it to camera. A barbecue? You think that would be like a bigger deal, but that must have been private, so that didn't make it. Now the walker. Okay, so she goes out with Pizza going for a walk, and Pizza's filming her, and she's got the walker. And it looks every bit of what you'd expect Chantal pushing a walker with a seat would look like. So far, she said it helps her stay upright. She can sit when her back hurts, which is the point of it. And whatever she's doing is making her breathe. Very, very heavy breathing. So that's good. I mean, the point, I think, I'm not an exercise expert. Certainly I'm no pro on breathing, as I smoke excessively. But I do recall from when I was losing my weight for the third time that, if you are a heavy breather from your weight, you actually have to continue to breathe heavy to build up your stamina and that kind of thing. So, Pizza's down at the moment for reasons undeclared. He's depressed. He's not doing well. Poor Pete's. That sounded sarcastic. I do feel bad for Pete's because I know he's got a therapist, which is more than I can say for other people, Chantal. So he has people to talk to and he can vent with and work with, and who knows if he'll even open up to Chantal about what he's depressed about. So, he's got that going for him. As to the walker, I thought it could go two ways, really. Mark, what do you think of the walker?
Oh, I think it's a damn shame.
A shame. So Mark thinks the walker is a shame. I have a different take. It could go two ways. A shame that she's in her 30s and has a walker, yeah.
Yes.
That's a shame. From a highly preventable condition. Highly preventable. And highly reversible condition. I'm not talking about diabetes, cholesterol, any of that stuff, but obesity is highly treatable, too. So, and the mental aspect is treatable as well. It's unfortunate to see her using a walker at that age. Is it a crutch? That's not a good thing. She shouldn't be getting used to using that. This is my opinionated editorial part.
That was my worry. My worry was that she was going to use it as a crutch, definitely. Yeah. And I do think that it's a shame that at her age and, that she's using it. That's what I meant,
Yeah, as a crutch. However, on the flip side of that, where I'd like to be more optimistic because I've invested so much time in her at this point, if she can use it as a tool and not a crutch. The best thing that could happen to her is for her to not get her money's worth out of this walker. For her to have to return it in 6 weeks because she doesn't need it anymore because her stamina's better. So, if it can be a tool, good.
Absolutely.
If it's a crutch, no. If it's an excuse to sit down anywhere that you could walk, then no. And God forbid if she sits in that thing and I see Pete's pushing her once. Just once.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to report it for abuse. Because poor Pete's is being taken advantage of.
Yeah, he's not doing well right now.
No, and Pete's is struggling. Yeah, he's struggling.
He is.
He needs his own time. So she said, she pushed herself, and it feels good to push herself. She could sit when her back hurts. That was the point, I think. No labeling her channel. Again, she wants to reiterate, not a weight loss, not a mukbang, not a makeup channel, not a whatever, not Shantopolis, whatever that was going to be. And she's talking about having a cheat meal once a week. Okay, so she had the New York fries. So that would have been like 2 days ago, I guess. And she segued into something totally off that. Just going back to the walking, which is what I had hoped for. I think I said verbatim. When she's using the walker, she can go farther taking rests as far as distance, other than just going to the bench, just about dying, and probably having Pete's carry her back to the car, in so many words. She can go farther with the walker. So that was my hope with her getting it, that she can feel comfortable enough to push herself farther, because she knows she can sit at any time. Again, crutch or tool. Could be a different. If you know you can sit anytime, are you going to sit anytime? Like, is this how it's going to go from this point on. Is she going to go on her trip to, where is she going? Punta Cana, Dominican Republic or something, and bring her walker and just sit wherever she goes? Not going to stand at the bar? Going to sit in her walker by the pool? You know, what's it going to look like? She's got till February. She's got some time.
See, that's the point. Yeah, exactly. Like, using it as a crutch, using it, like, if she uses it as a tool and, like, you know, gets a little more exercise in and stuff like that, it helps her.
Mm-hmm.
But so often,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes a crutch, and then this young person is going to have this walker for the rest of her life.
Well, I had said last week if she had went in and bought a Jazzy or mobility scooter, that I would throw up on the spot. And I don't say that to diminish the fact that people need mobility scooters for a variety of reasons. The point is, she can still walk, and now she needs assistance. Jumping to the mobility scooter from her current mobility would be like giving up early. It would be like, well, eventually I'm not going to be able to walk, so let's just start disability now. So, as to that, as far as her mobility, the walker's enough at this point. So, next, let's see. TMI story time on location, the best chicken sandwich ever. So I don't know if this counts as a cheat, but it was like 4 days after the fries. So, whatever. She starts at Starbucks. She's in her car. She's going to her hometown and going to have a cheat meal. Now, she kind of wraps this in a bow, saying, I was going to have cheat meals once a week, but, because I'm foodie beauty and I like to do restaurants and travel and eat, the bottom line was that she had a chicken Slovaki with a lot of tzatziki on it, and it looked fantastic. She didn't get the platter, in her defense, I guess, which comes with rice and this and that. She just got the wrap, as far as we saw. So, because she's foodie beauty. And then she sang Vogue on double speed on the drive there. So,
Vogue?
Yeah.
Vogue? Madonna? Vogue?
Yes, Madonna.
No,
Vogue.
she didn't.
She did.
Oh, I didn't see that.
So the TMI road trip, she's going sightseeing through her hometown, and she passes a porn store that she said had been there forever. It was very resilient. They are, actually. They're some of the longest lasting retail spaces in our area. In fact, there's two, not far from each other, and they're both thriving, and the one expanded quite a bit, too. And both of them are peculiarly close to evangelical churches that popped up. So just saying. I don't like those churches. That's not that I don't like church. I mean, I was raised Catholic. A mass is 45 minutes tops, unless there's people dragging it out in the homily. I went to one of those with an ex because he thought we needed to find God. 3 hours later of my Sunday, gone. And then they wanted to have, food afterwards and continued to talk about what we just did. It had PowerPoint presentations and a keyboard. It was too much. Nevertheless, that has nothing to do. Porn and church has nothing to do with what we're talking about today. She passes Crush Lane, which is a restaurant. Now, the record stopped when I heard this. That was the restaurant where Pete's proposed to me.
What?
So, yeah, I'm so sure they're just friends now when Pete's isn't carrying a torch. A lot of people I propose to, I lose feelings for after and become roommates with. So, and she says she's telling the TMI story times because people want more. Don't know who. And she's in a parking lot having her chicken Slovaki on a pita. Okay. She's in the area of her first apartment. And she's talking about her hoe days. And her hoe days were to fill a void, self-validation, and loneliness, much as my hoe days were. But she also said she was a very sexual person, kind of finding her way, what she liked, what she didn't like. And that's, that was my 20s, at least at the beginning of it. It was a fine line between desperate sex and exploration. Somewhere in the middle for me. So, she found a guy that she thought was handsome, who looked like the guy from Where's Waldo, except he wore Levi jeans. And the gentleman happened to be a hoarder, as far as she was concerned, as far as she knew. And she doesn't shame his hoard. Everything is so shameful. Because it's a mental health concern, manifesting in piles of trash in your home. So she doesn't lay into him for that. But because of that, he doesn't want to invite her over. And she has a lousy roommate who wears dirty underwear and nothing else around the house, and her own filthy bedroom. So she doesn't want to invite him over. So eventually she goes over to his place, and they're messing around on his bare mattress, and he has like a nightstand made of old pizza boxes and a bong. Just the essentials. And somehow during the lovin', she rolls over and kicks the side of the horde, and she gets smacked in the head with an empty plastic vegetable platter, like you get for parties at a barbecue. And she thought she might have still had the mark. So that was the TMI story time. Yeah, I don't know. She then goes forward to say that he stopped hanging out with her after a while. Oh, she was still frequenting her French lover at the time. This Waldo guy stopped contact with her and got back with an ex-girlfriend who she described as crazy and not tightly wound. So the hoarder has a mental illness, but the ex-girlfriend is crazy, or the girlfriend is crazy. At any rate. So the next video, she's not feeling well. So the first thing I thought when she put up a video saying I'm not feeling so well after a day or so is she binged. Now the first thing I could hear her say is that people are so quick to judgment, and maybe I am, but she binged. She mentioned it twice. Well, she called it self-medicating with food. So now she says in the beginning she's trying not to fidget with her nose, and she's trying to limit the editing because she only wants to film it once. I didn't get the fidgeting with the nose thing. I fidget when I talk. I always watch this back and I'm like, God, I touched my ear a lot, my nose a lot. Did I almost pick it? Did I actually pick it? It happens. She's not her happy self. She didn't want to be all giggles. She's struggling with her mental health at the moment and has been since her teens. So we're laying deep groundwork here. She's been very down and can't pull herself out of it. So she's been using food to self-medicate. There's your binge. There's that. So we're off the portion control, whatever she's been trying to do for the last bit of time. She's gotten away from that. And to cope with whatever mental health issue she's having, she's eating. So.
But, don't you think it's just a little bit peculiar that Pete was very upset and depressed and he got some attention, and then in the next video, she's depressed? The timing, I mean?
I don't know. It's peculiar,
I
but
don't know. Because people were like, "Oh, Pete, I hope you feel." He was getting attention because he wasn't feeling well.
Well, if anyone's going to get attention on her channel, it's her.
Yes. Exactly.
I don't know that it has anything to do with it, but it's peculiar. It's certainly peculiar timing.
It just crossed my mind, you know.
So, at any rate, she has an appointment set up, apparently, to go see a therapist, which she hates, has suggested in the past that she's gone, but never elaborated, doesn't like to go, so either she's going to do it or she's not. I mean, you either go to the appointment or you don't. And you have to go more than twice to decide if it's a good fit with the therapist. If you go once and don't come back, you're wasting your time and the therapist's time. You're taking up time that somebody else could have went and actually started to get help. So, I hope she goes, for her sake. She called her GP about getting back on psych meds. Escitalopram, I think was the med. I forget. That's the generic for either Celexa or Lexapro, I think. And she wanted to get back on it because she felt a little better when she was taking it. And she said this time she won't go off it without, like an idiot. She'll take it as prescribed. If you go off of psychiatric medications like that without, cold turkey, the withdrawal is terrible. And that's what you remember when you want to go on it next time. Oh, the withdrawal was terrible. Well, if you took it as directed, and even if you withdraw from it as directed with your doctor on a taper, it's not going to be as severe. You'll have withdrawals. And these antidepressants, they're terrible. I've come off them before. You get brain shocks, things shoot down your arms. They're tough. So don't screw around with those. Take them or don't. But don't play fast and loose with meds like that. They're drugs. They're prescription drugs, but they're mind-altering drugs. So, don't be cute with it. Take it or don't. She also talked about taking the Vyvanse again, the diet medication. But she said it makes her jittery and gives her anxiety, like an extra boost. It makes her more anxious. It's speed. So it's going to do that. I bet she had a very clean house when she was on it as well. So, but then it wears off. It can mess with your sleeping, all sorts of stuff. So, her body, her choice. And it's a discussion for her and her doctor. But she brought it on YouTube, so now it's part of YouTube discourse. So she's going to go pick up her meds. She talks about how she feels good when she's vlogging. how she hasn't wanted to leave the house. She does a lot of circular mental health talk with platitudes built in. So it's one of those where you're like saying all the right therapeutic things and giving herself motivation. And it's a lot of crap. You know, it's a lot of crap that you'd like read on the walls in a therapist's office and then condense together and then spit out. It's kind of like that. I do it particularly well myself. At least I was when I was trying to get treatment, because it makes it sound like you're really invested, even if you aren't. She may be, but if she's not, she's talking a good game. To the untrained ear. So, she was going to come on all smiles, but she said, you know, she doesn't want to be fake. And then she said the idea of fake it till you make it, that she can't do it. I don't care for the idea of fake it till you make it, because when I tried to do that, I faked it until I was fake. And then I didn't know the difference between me and this recovery drone. Especially, you know, I was a drinker. But I have food issues, too. Have, had, may have in the future, whatever. And to just go around saying you feel better and that you're doing better, but when the door closes, you know, and the lights go out, and it's just you and your mind, and just you and your fridge, and just you and your booze, you know in the privacy of your own mind whether or not you're full of shit. Most of us do. If you don't, go to the therapist. Otherwise, you might be on the wrong end of an intervention. So, you know, I can appreciate her position. I mean, I really, really can. But when she's talking about burying the binges in a I'm not feeling mentally well thing, this is something else that I thought I invented, but apparently she's either copied or I'm not original. I'll give you an example. Let's say Mark was a friend, and he lived here, and I was somewhere else, and I was an addict, and, like, pills were my drug of choice. So I come over, Mark's got prescription medication in his medicine cabinet. He knows I'm an addict. He knows I have a history of stealing. He knows this stuff about me. I come over, I use the bathroom, clean out his medicine cabinet, and leave. He finds out, obviously, and he calls to confront me. I, instead, break down into tears, talk about how I can't control myself, how this has been going on a while, how life is just so hard, and I can't make ends meet, and I'm just under so much stress, and I just need help. All of this could be true. It's also meant to make him stop being angry and feel sorry for me, so I can bury the fact that I did a behavior that I told him I wasn't going to do. So what it does is puts a big smoke screen around it, you know. And I think that in her efforts here, it's probably to back haters off of her. Or it could be concerned folks as well. Rather than putting out a video saying, I binged, all that stuff happened and I binged. It's in the context of this I'm not feeling mentally well thing.
Yeah, wow, that's a good point.
So this is either very genuine or very calculated. You know, take from what... She knows which one it is. I don't know which one it is. I could take a guess. But, I hope she's being honest. But, we'll see. And then she goes on to talk about feeling inferior to some people. She sees people with pictures on Instagram and stuff like that and thinks their lives look so perfect. Here's a platitude for you that I've heard 1,000 times. Don't compare your insides to other people's outsides. Just like with Where's Waldo, she said he was clean, he didn't smell, and she reiterated to her audience, you don't know what goes on behind closed doors with people. Same thing for them. The pretty blonde girl on Instagram might have to go throw up every meal she eats just to keep a waist. Don't be jealous. You don't know what's going on behind other people's closed doors, okay? So that's a good lesson for all of us. That's not the point of this week, but that's a good lesson for all of us, I think. So, you know, don't take that too much on yourself. I wouldn't. Let's see. I don't want to have these issues. I deny them. Yes. Mental illness isn't something you can see. True in part, depending on what kind of mental illness you're struggling with. When I struggle with mine of substance use disorder, it's pretty effing visible. It's pretty visible. When Mark's dealing with his substance use disorder, it's pretty visible. You know, you can't find any mouthwash in the house when I'm sick, and the copper plumbing disappears when Mark is. So you have to kind of, you know, see it. When you have an eating disorder, it reflects in your body often. Not always, but often. If food is your fix, it's hard to hide. It is. So you're going to get big. You know, if you don't eat, you're going to get small. So some mental illnesses do manifest physically. The hoarder, you can see the hoard, you know. And then there's some you keep to yourself. Pete's, you might not know. He might not have any outward symptoms of being depressed other than being quiet. And he might not even do that. You know, he can work a full day and then just be depressed after work. Some people can't get out of bed to do their job, even if they are working from home. So, it does manifest differently. But for some of us, it's loud and proud when we're not doing well. And some of us have an impact on others when we're not doing well, and others don't. So, it depends. I mean, certainly I am not only hurting myself when I am not doing well. I leave a huge wake of pissed off people behind me when I'm not okay. So, speaking of things to hide, you know, she said she has like facial tics all of a sudden that she has to do. I never noticed her having too many facial tics. She said she edited them out. People shake. I shake. I take Parkinson's medication because all these psych meds that keep me just well enough to stay off a bridge make me shake. It happens. Whatever. Dizzy, low energy, she thinks it's the meds, whatever. For all this, like, okay, when you think about, like, being vulnerable and all this stuff, I think for most of us, the truth about ourselves is not as bad as we think. It's certainly not as bad as the lie she tells about herself. So, and wrapping up the last video, 400-pound diaries trying to go on vacation. So, not much of a video, she admits. She feels slightly better, back on the meds. Dizzy, trying to get out of her funk. She has the same breakfast again. That frickin', it's disgusting. You can tell yourself whatever you want. I don't like it. And she has a meal. She makes some shrimp, and it's an eat with me. Not a mukbang, she doesn't finish, but it's an eat with me. The updates are that she got a vacation tracker, so it's a countdown. She's counting down the days. She's getting psyched to go. She talked with her friend about going on the trip to Dominican Republic, I believe. She says no matter what size she is, she's getting a bikini. I'm here for it. Get the bikini.
Getting what?
She's getting a bikini.
A bikini?
Yeah.
A two-piece?
Yeah.
Bikini?
Mm-hmm. Why not?
Oh, I'm there.
I'm there for it. You know why? I have never taken my shirt off in a natural body of water or unnatural body of water to swim. Ever. I carried a lot of weight before I lost it, and it was all in my chest and my stomach. And the weight that I have left before I hit my goal and then gained like 10 pounds back. Where I gained it all back is where I used to carry it, in my chest and stomach. So I don't like the way my torso looks. Mark and I have been together over 6 years. I think in the last year, I started having my shirt off with the lights off when we were alone. So I've been, you know, it's taken me a very long time to be comfortable even around him. So if she has the confidence to put a bikini on, go nuts.
Yeah.
Have fun. Get in the water, jump in the waves, do your thing. I don't care. You know. Let's see. She ordered an exercise ball that holds up to 2,000 pounds. Don't test it. Don't. She's keeping her gym membership on hold because of COVID. She doesn't want to go back in. Still trying to get out of her funk. She says she doesn't expect to be skinny for this trip. She just wants to be comfortable. What I hope she avoids if she goes is being the fat friend who has to constantly say, hey, wait for me. Or who has to say, no, you guys go ahead, I'm going to stay in the room. If she is in either one of those positions, that's not going to be a fun trip. So I hope for her sake she gets to her goal and does what she wants to do with that. So, what is the lesson in this for us this week? What is the takeaway for the rest of us? Well, what I did notice, on a kind note to Chantal, other weeks there's been 5 to 13 mukbangs, and maybe somewhere in there 1 or 2 days of trying to eat well. Or something. In the last week, there was, I would say, a handful of days where she tried to do something like portion control, maybe try to be a little honest, and then the day of I'm not feeling well, which buried probably 2 days of binging. You know, she could have came on and filmed those 2 days of binging. I don't know. It looks like after the not feeling well video, she got back on track, cooking, filming, doing the healthy thing, which is what my opinion, is what a weight loss journey, documented as one or not, is about. When you make the kind of mistakes, you just get back on and do it again. When you go out and eat a bunch of Wendy's or a bunch of McDonald's, you don't have to start a juice fast the next day. You just pick up where you left off, and you weigh and measure your food, and you get a little fresh air with Pete's, and you bring your walker, and you just keep it moving. And ideally, for someone who is such a chronic relapser, I think if Chantal can put 10 days between her next binge, and then maybe after that 115, something. It's progress. It's harm reduction. You know, some people are sicker than others, and it takes a little bit more time. So, yeah, I think that's a good thing for her this week. I will also acknowledge that she could come back this afternoon, tonight, with a full face of Elvira makeup, all piss and vinegar, put down a whole Domino's pizza, and tell everyone to fuck off. It's her business, not theirs. So that's the part of Chantal that still hasn't earned really too much trust from me. But we'll see. We'll see. She doesn't need my trust, my approval, or my permission to have a channel, or a journey, or not a journey, or whatever she's doing, because she doesn't know either. But I'll continue to watch. We have a lot of stuff in common. As far as our issue, we have a lot of issues in common. We'll say that. Food, addiction, relationship stuff, youth promiscuity, things like that. So I connect with her on some of those things. And I also look at her and think, if you would just knock that off, you're making it so hard. Like, give yourself a break. You're making it so hard on yourself. It could be so much easier. But we'll see. I'm going to keep watching. It's interesting. It's bizarre. It doesn't make me cringe. I don't know her in real life. She has no impact on me. I have no impact on her. But, I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm a fan. I would say I'm an occasional supporter. When she's doing well, I support her. When she's not doing well, I don't do the whole, you have to love me, right, wrong, good, bad, indifferent. No, I don't have to love you when you're hurting yourself and making a spectacle of it and monetizing it. I think it's disgusting. But when you're doing good, I'll watch your channel and support you for doing good. So, I'm allowed to do that. So thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe, hit the like button and the bell on the way out so you get all the alerts when we go live and when a new video comes up. You can follow Mark and I on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc or on Instagram at SmokeySteveAndMarc. Our email address and our contact info is all listed down below. Thank you again, and you can catch Mark and I tomorrow evening, live at 6 p.m. Eastern. We'll be up for probably about an hour or so. We usually go over. Thanks for watching, and we will see you then. Bye!